We are we're in Pennsylvania, and where are you at?
I am in beautiful Branson, Missouri. And for those of you that don't know where Branson, Missouri is, you should come. It's a great resort area, but it's in the Ozark Mountains in Missouri, right on the border of Arkansas, sort of the southwest borderline of Arkansas, where of Missouri, on top of Arkansas.
Now we went out there to see your show a few years ago in Branson, and it was like I think it was April, and it was like the first time it snowed there in about 50 years. That particular weekend that we were there,
Right.
and but it was like little Disney World, like little Vegas there.
It's a resort area, big entertainment community, lots of shows, over 100 shows here in this small community. When I say that, there are like only 12,000 people that live here full time. And then we have between 5 and 7 million visitors in a normal year, in a normal year from, let's say, March, April until mid-December. And so that's how I came to live here. I wanted to come and do my music show, the one you saw, the 70s music celebration, all with 70s music and the live band and interactive. And we had a big, crew. It was just great fun. And did it for 6 years here. And I was doing between 3 and 4 shows, about 120 shows a year. And it was a great experience to be doing that. I don't do that show here anymore. I have another group and travel, but I like the area so well. I decided to move here. It's a big change of pace. It's a little like Mayberry in the sense that it's Midwestern, and it's a little more relaxed and very, very friendly. And when people ask you, "How are you?" they like really want to know. You can't get by with just "Oh, I'm fine." No, I mean, how you doing? With they're involved, and so it's a little slower pace and a lot less traffic than Los Angeles, where I grew up, and very, very happy here, overlooking beautiful Table Rock Lake.
So, what does a celebrity do? You used to surf, and now what do you do?
I still surf. I
What?
surf. I surf behind my boat in the lake on the wake.
Wow.
So I brought my surfboard, and now instead of waiting for a wave to come in, I just hit it and pop up, and then I'm on the endless wave. I can go like for a mile if I want.
Oh my, I did see when you did the show Barry and Branson. Uh
Barry Branson.
I saw some of the things that
Yeah.
that you and Brandon were doing
Yeah.
that wouldn't normally think somebody that was from California would be doing to occupy themselves.
All about the water. If it's over it, under it, on it, around it, and the water, I'm doing it. But behind the boat, we have um, the things you can drag, like tubes. They call them tubes, but I mean they can have arches on them, and they can be for 4 people and swing back and forth between the wake. And we water ski, we jet ski, we wakeboard, we wake surf. We have air chairs, which are a lot of fun and difficult to explain, but basically it's a foil that glides underneath the water, and then you sit on the chair about 2.5 feet above the water, and you can carve with it like this. It's great fun, lots to
Now,
do.
do you let Brandon drive the boat yet?
Oh yes, yes, he's a very 17, but he's been driving it and pulling me since he was 15. But that's what happens when you kind of grow up with it. So by the time he was 11, he was sitting on my lap and using the controls, and we were talking about boat safety, and we took the course together to learn all the markers and what's safe and what isn't safe and what can happen, and how the boat it operates safe, how to properly put in gas, things like that. So being a young teenager, and now he's just hey, Dad, get out of my way. I got this.
He looks just like you. I mean, if anybody goes through the pictures on your Facebook pages, he's like mini you. Only I think he was taller than you.
He's so handsome now. I wish I looked like him.
That's awesome. So, you know, I mean, I met you through the Monkees, and most of the people who follow me are Monkees fans. So, I wanted to ask you some other questions about our favorite Brady Bunch episode has always been the one getting Davy Jones.
True.
And because I've never really fangirled around you, I never really asked you the questions that I have always wanted to know. So I know it was 50 years ago, but do you remember anything about that episode, how it was filmed or how it was received?
Well, it was one of the biggest shows in terms of ratings. It was a big deal for us as well because we all knew the Monkees. They came on the air before us, and Davy was a big star, as Mickey is, and so we were all excited to have a guest star at all on the air. And plus, the whole episode made such a big deal about Davy. I don't know the exact statistic, but I believe for a half-hour sitcom the name of the episode, Davy Jones, is said more times than any other name of an episode of any other sitcom. So if you recall,
Wow.
it was always, oh, I get to meet Davy Jones. Davy Jones, where are you going to meet Davy Jones? I'm going to meet Davy Jones over at the recording studio. The recording studio, Davy Jones is going to be at the recording studio. Davy Jones, really? You know, it's that kind of thing. So there was so many times that it was.
Was that done on purpose for a reason?
I don't know. I don't think so. It just kind of happened to kind of build the excitement, and he was happy to be there too. I do think there was a little, a little chemistry going on there with the two, with Davy and Maureen McCormick. And I was a little jealous of that. But, I remained professional. Um, but
Wow.
it was great fun to have him there.
Who did you ever? I mean, I admittedly was a huge, still am, Brady Bunch fan. When I saw the Brady Bunch movie, obviously it was before the internet and it was the night that it came out. It was a sold out theater. And I was sitting next to this poor woman who, when Davy came out, I grabbed her leg and she like smacked me because I was so excited. What did you think of the movies?
Well, they updated it, of course. They brought in, he wasn't wearing his groovy threads from the 70s. So that was updated. And then they put kind of a grunge garage
Yes.
band track to it, which I thought was kind of fun too, because even though the Bradys in the movie were still living in the 70s, he wasn't necessarily. So I thought that was a fun take on it. He was, I think it kind of showed his sense of humor. He was, as you know, he was a great guy, easy to be around, a lot of fun, talented, and had fun with what he was doing. And he had a good time on that shoot, I know. By the way, you may be aware of this, but one of the most enjoyable summers I've had was with both Davy and Mickey. I was invited on a summer tour that they were doing around the country to open for them musically. So
Wow.
I used their backup band, and I brought my guitar and did some songs from the Brady's and some pop songs, and did about, I think, 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes to open the show. And so we went from city to city and played at the Boston Pops over in Boston at that beautiful outdoor theater, and many different places around the country. I'm sure that some of your fans will remember that. And so we were bussing and trucking and flying and doing that because the tour lasted a couple of months, maybe 10 weeks, 11 weeks. And it was really, really enjoyable to be part of that world and the team and be part of the show.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I did get your book. I did read your book. I did see the movie that you did. I would think it was for television.
Growing up,
Uh,
right? Mhm.
Growing Up Brady. I saw that. I really have been a big fan, but I'm wondering. I think you could have done Girl as well as Davy because that's your kind of song. But do you remember that song?
Let's see. never could perfect the accent, and that's such an important. I'll give it a shot, yo.
Okay.
Girl, look what you've done to me and my whole world, girl. You are the sun to me. I'm begging you, girl. That's all I want.
You're gonna make me cry. Wow.
Another thing, and something you might not think about. That song, while it was a great impact for Brady Bunch fans and even for Davy fans, it had a huge impact on Davy because he adopted that song. And from that point forward, there was so much demand for it that he always included Girl in his concerts. So whenever he went to perform, that was part of his song list. And that happens in the same way like a Joe Namath, the quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, I ran into him some 25 years after we did the show. I didn't even know if he would remember me. And he remembered me. Well, first of all, Barry, my daughter's a huge fan. She was a teenager, big fan, meaning she was a big fan of teenage Greg. And but he's reminded constantly of the Brady Bunch episode, like Don Ho was always reminded of it throughout his life and through his career. So his being on the Brady Bunch was something that he carried all through the rest of his life and in performance as well, in that song in particular.
That's well, realistically, I don't, and because I'm not into sports, I think I would probably ask Joe Namath something Brady Bunch-esque. I wouldn't even know what team he was on. I mean, it could have been Giants or something, but I don't know anything about him. But I guess that's true. A lot of those
I'll give you a hint. It was a New York, World Series winning team that he
the
led.
Jets.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was paying attention. I grew up with a sister. We didn't know from sports, but we knew from the Brady Bunch. Um, I don't want to ask you what your favorite episode was because that's too easy. Everybody asks you that. Is there something, because the way that the show,
Johnny Bravo answer it anyway.
anybody that didn't know that. Well, here's the thing. I'm wondering, of all the people, when I read your book, I read that you were emancipated. So you had, is that right? You weren't emancipated on the show? I think it said you hung out with the,
Yeah, emancipated is a whole different thing. What I did,
okay.
Once I reached 16 and was able to drive, then we had one of the other mothers as the responsible guardian for me during the time that we were filming at the set. But I always remained with my family, and I had a nuclear family growing up, and my parents and I got along very well, and were very supportive of my career. Which is emancipation usually has to do with separating from your family, a legal separation from your family. So no, I just had Christopher Knight's mother was legally my guardian and responsible for me as a minor for my 16th while I was 16 and 17.
Were your brothers ever on the show?
No. We did have relatives on the show, though. Florence Henderson had her daughter Barbara on it. Robert Reed had his daughter on it. Michael Lookenland had his brother. Had a brother and then a son. His son was in Growing Up Brady, playing his dad.
And was Michael the cameraman for that?
Not on that show. No, he was working in Utah. He's a camera operator and an assistant cameraman. Yeah.
Wow. So it really did stay in the family. Of all the people that you surrounded yourself with growing up, who do you think gave you the best advice of anybody? Something that you took with you to this day?
Well, as an actor, I was very impressed with Robert Wagner. At the time he was doing the show, It Takes a Thief, and I was a guest star on that television show, and very young, pre-Brady, in fact. He talked to me like a young man and as an actor, and he was actually quite helpful for me in terms of acting because he spent the rehearsal time that we had together talking about what was happening before the scene and after the scene, as well as what the scene was. And being impressionable as I was, I always appreciated his being not treating me like a kid or an annoyance, but as an actor.
Wow. It's interesting. It's not somebody I would have thought of, obviously. So you probably had the biggest year. I think this whole situation is actually giving you a break from one of the biggest years you've had in a long time doing the HGTV
Oh, that's true.
renovation show. But how did that, I mean, it was genius. I mean, but how did that come about?
Well, it was a combination of many, many things, as most good ideas are. But the idea was sprung up at a board meeting at the Discovery Networks for HGTV, and it picked up momentum. The first thing they knew was that if it was going to be the kind of success they envisioned, they had to have everybody on the roster. They needed all six kids. They didn't. Sometimes we've done reunions, missing a character or two. They wanted to lock in everyone, and they were very good about it. They came out to Los Angeles and flew me to Los Angeles to have dinner and just sit around and talk about it and gauge interest and that kind of a thing. And they made it a very attractive offer. Once they had us, they assembled the team and got going on it, and it became one of the best professional working uh, projects I've ever been a part of because we weren't playing characters, just playing ourselves, and it was very nostalgic, extremely nostalgic, and they did a fantastic job. As we discussed over the show, the only elements that were missing in person were Robert Reed and Florence Henderson and Ambi Davis. But I'll tell you, as the home came together, their spirits came in with it, and so we shared it with them that way.
Wow. What, when you looked at, was there any one piece that you looked at and it just blew you away? Because I know a lot of fans donated pieces that they had purchased or that they found, but was there any like one moment where you were like, oh my gosh?
The living room. When we first got to the reveal, they call it, and it was worked on, but they kept those of us that weren't actually doing the construction away from it until it was time to reveal it. And when I saw the staircase and the steps and the horse on the furniture table, it was overwhelming because that living room was so central to everything that we did. We were either coming in through the front door or coming down from the bedrooms or on the way to the kitchen or something or having a dinner at the dining room. So in some way, almost every scene incorporated that living room, and so seeing it like that was very, very special.
How long did it take to complete that project? Or did you fly out many times? Because it lasted a long time.
14 months, and I was there. I was there 16 times.
Wow. That,
16, almost every other weekend. I was flying back to LA.
oh my gosh. Wow, that's a lot longer than I thought. I never saw anything so incredible coming together. I mean, I hope they do it with other sitcoms, but it just seems like such a great idea, especially because I'm personally a little tired of the reboot idea. And what they actually did was they essentially did the show with an entirely new premise, keeping their characters but not dumbing it down. Where a lot of the shows now, when they're rebooting, it's very unrealistic.
Yeah.
That was really cool. So I have a question for you. Now that we're in the house and we have nowhere to go, if you had five,
We're literally,
we in Pennsylvania literally have nowhere we can go. What if you had five albums that you were to bring on a desert island, of which we have one now? What are the five albums you would listen to?
you said you weren't going to stump me, and you would. I would have to go through the set list. We play a lot of music here. We have a very diverse uh, types of music. My son Brandon is largely into the same music I grew up with, so a lot of the 70s albums are still in play. But that would be a hard one for me. I really would have to sit down and pick them.
Who's your favorite go-to group?
Um, I'm a big Fleetwood Mac fan, So I still listen to them quite a bit, and Stevie, I like what she's doing. I'm a big Bruno Mars fan. So those are two. I'm also uh, a Justin Timberlake fan. Listen to a lot of his music.
Wow, that's no Beatles.
I do. I love the Beatles, and we play a lot of Beatles music. But I tend to listen to and really go to people like I can sing along with. Which is
Yeah,
like Bruno and Justin. Yeah, they're just so cool in what they're doing and the vibe they found, and it's fun to jump on there and
and
get
smile.
or sing along and that kind of stuff.
How about your favorite movie of all time?
Hmm. That is also a very good one. I'm not very good at favorites or top 10 lists. So
Your go-to movie right now. You're by yourself. The family's out. What do you put on?
I would probably put on the other guys with Will Ferrell and
And The Rock.
oh, that movie. It makes me laugh. Always makes me feel good.
That's really cool. Okay. Another question somebody had for me, Sue actually, wanted to know of everything that you've done. She saw you in every play you've ever done. She's seen every movie. She saw you in concert. Um, she was a big fan on the radio when you had your radio show. What is your favorite? Your right now you get to pick your dream job. What would that be?
Well, I've been doing it, and I'm still doing it. It's uh, you know the difference in work. They're very specific in terms of the energies that you use, and television work is different even than film work, and certainly is different than recording or radio. But I think for pure joy, on stage, live performing is the most fun because it really engages the audience as well. I like to think of it as working with energy. So I'm working with people in the audience that are bringing what they're seeing, and the music is helping to drive that, and that further kind of um, inspires me, and then that energy goes back to the audience. So it's very reciprocal that way, and it's a great feeling to have. It's easy to get addicted to.
The adrenaline of a crowd.
Yeah, because you want it to go well, and it's everything is heightened, and it's kind of there's an intensity, and of course there's volume, and right away whether what you're doing is working or not. Whereas in film, you have to wait till it gets it's edited and put together, and there's a background, and there's music, and all the things that are added to it.
Right. So there's no immediate gratification with something like that.
Right? You just don't know, so you got to really trust your director and editor.
When I was talking to Butch, Patrick, Butch had said that when he did a guest appearance on the Monkees, that was his exciting moment. Was there a project that you ever got or were a guest star on that really got you excited as a fan, not just an actor?
I was originally inspired to become an actor 4 years old by actor Peter Graves, who was doing a show called Fury. At the time, it was on Saturday mornings. I went to school with his daughter, who's my age, Claudia, and he is who inspired me to become an actor. I didn't start acting until I was 11, but when I was 13 or 14, I guest starred on my favorite show of all time, which was Mission Impossible. And I was the guest star. Of course, Peter was starring in that. So that was so full circle for me and so rewarding and filling. And Peter didn't have anything to do with it. I went in and interviewed and auditioned. I had a couple callbacks on it and won the role on my own. And that was a very special event.
Wow, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. So I want to ask you, I get emails all the time that people want to meet you. And right now, I obviously it's going to be a while until you can start with your appearances again. If what options do people have right now if they wanted to meet you? Are you doing any appearances via internet or anything like that?
Really a great question. that you ask, and we don't know when this is over. What's going to become available. Almost everything, what people generally do involves numbers of people. So whether it's sporting activities or going to shows or concerts or gatherings or corporate events, every parties, weddings. So we just don't know. But there is one thing that I have been doing and been active with, and successfully, I think, for people that want to like say hello, or I think a good way to say it is for me to do shout outs. A company called Cameo. Cameo.
Yes.
Have you heard of them? They
They do a lot of advertising. It seems like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and it's very, very personal, and it can be for any kind of event. So, as you know, as reliable Big Brother Greg, sometimes I might be cheering people up, talking to them, in their hospital bed. But I'll take my cell and say, hey, I'd like to do a shout out for, let's say, Bill or Joan, and then talk a little bit about who they are and what they're doing, and it could be anniversaries or birthdays or graduations or any kind of special event, holidays. Valentine's Day, I was very active with them. But the nice thing is, it's very personalized, and so that I'm able to do from home, and which also makes it, I think, even more intimate, if you will. And so that's been a lot of fun, and they do a great job with it.
So I guess right now, one of the songs, like Sunshine Day, seems like that would be a great message for somebody that, I mean, I had two birthdays that came up in my house and I couldn't physically go into a store to buy them anything. So somebody could actually have you give them a birthday shout out, an encouragement, something like that on Cameo.
Exactly. And sometimes I'll sing happy birthday, or if they ask for it, or a part. I do Brady music medleys, with a little keep on keeping on, and when it's time to change, you've got to rearrange. And of course, I think I'll go for a walk outside now.
You might have to bill me for this because this is like my own personal concert. I remember at the Brady Bunch reunion, you did the dance.
I think having a sunshine day is an important message for everybody right now.
I think so. I think every woman should probably tell their husband to go on Cameo and have their own little concert from Barry. At least that's what I would do. So I don't want to keep you very long, and I really appreciate you hanging out with us. I mean, I can't believe that I even know you, let alone for the length of time that I know you. Every time I'm with you, I think you just make everybody happy, and that was what I'm trying to do.
I appreciate you thinking of me. I know that you're trying to stay active and be busy while we're at home, and I know you do a lot of work with Mickey and the gang. And so I'm happy to be part of that, and I appreciate your including me in this. And it is another way for us to reach out, say hello, let everybody know that we're doing fine, getting along with it. That mostly, I think it's important we all know that we're in it together.
That's right. And we all have to stay positive because I have a feeling once it's over, we're all going to be so more appreciative for a short period of time of I've always told everybody when, a lot of people are procrastinators and they go, I'll catch them next time. I'll catch them next time. And I always say, you just don't know if there's going to be a next time. And so once this is all over, you're going to get back into, I would imagine, doing work again and being out there again.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is have everybody, first of all, they can go on Cameo and look you up, but on barrywilliamsofficial.com, that's where you'll have updated all of your
That's
dates.
important too. The official is. It turns out there's a few Barry Williams around. Once you
Yes.
get, and sometimes you get to one, and it's definitely not me. Barry Williams official.com, and
Official.
I have clips from the Travelers, which is the trio that I have and travel with, hence Travelers. But pretty all upcoming dates. I was disappointed. I had we were going to appear on the Mike Huckabee show last week out of Nashville, and perform. And so that was postponed, and we're talking now maybe in August, July or August, we'll see. And but all of those things get updated on the website on barrywilliamsofficial.com.
Wonderful. And then you're active on, you have a Twitter account that's yours. You have a Facebook account.
Right. In fact, that's also another great way. If you go onto Facebook, my Facebook, and and like or subscribe, or what is it for Facebook? Is it subscribe or just like, or what do you do?
Facebook is like, and then your website would be subscribe.
Great.
Yeah. Because everything's going to get back to normal. It's just a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
It is. All right. Thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. And please tell Tina and just that I said hello, and Brandon, and just stay watching television.
Now, Jodi, listen, I would love to stay, but I gotta go because something suddenly came up. Before I do, have a sunshine day.
I love you. Thank you so much. I will see you soon.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye, Bear.